Hey everybody. Well, on today's episode, I'm going to be doing an enriched bread from the Ukraine. And this is usually something typical that you'd find during Christmas, or Ritzvo as they would say. And this is a throwback from Roman times. Enriched sweetened breads were always found at celebration tables throughout, and the Romans obviously influenced their way into the Black Sea, and in countries like the Czech Republic, Bulgaria, Ukraine, you'll find them there. Now in Italy, you still have them to this day, Panettone, and basically the addition of eggs, milk, sweetening agents, spices, nuts, fruits, these all add to the festive nature of this bread. After all, bread symbolizes life, and these fruity, nutty, spicy things just add the element of hope in the future. So anyways, I'm going to show you a basic on how to do the kolache, and maybe you'll like doing it, maybe you'll start a new tradition. Either way, it's good. Let's go. And on today's episode, we're going to do a kolache, or a Christmas braided bread. So first, we're going to need about half a gram of anise, which is about a quarter teaspoon. We're also going to need 150 grams of dried apricots, nice and sweet with a little bit of tang. We're also going to need 20 grams of dried cherries. Now you can substitute with many different fruits, apples, but this is what I'm using. Also, we're going to need 225 grams of almonds and 9 grams of dried yeast. We're also going to need some butter, 60 grams worth. And to enrich our dough, we're also going to need 2 eggs. And as a sweetening agent, we're going to use 125 mils of honey, along with 320 mils of milk, 60 grams of flour. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a sponge. So first step, we're going to scald the milk, let it cool down to room temperature. Then we pour the milk into a big bowl. Next, we're going to add the yeast to the milk, let it bloom. Then once it's activated, after stirring it up a little bit, we're going to gradually incorporate the flour into this mix. Now this is what we're doing to make a sponge, or a pre-dough. This helps the bread have an extra lift and gives it an extra flavor. When it starts to look soupy like this, we're pretty much done. Now we cover it. We let it rest at room temperature until it doubles up in volume. Now this depends upon your room temperature, but I'm taking an average of about 40 minutes, and we have a nice sponge that looks like this. We chop up the apricots, we toast and grind the almonds. Now we get on to creaming the butter with the honey. So we put the butter in, next we put in our honey, and then we're going to start mixing it up. Similar procedure as you would to a sponge cake. Then we gradually add in our eggs, a little bit at a time, when the butter and the honey is all creamed. Then what we're going to do is we're going to gradually incorporate our sponge. So it's all bloomed up. We're going to mix it in with the butter mixture, and this is going to be the basis for our bread. Once this is mixed in there, we're also going to add all our anise, a nice licorice flavor, a little bit of salt, just a taste, less than a gram, and then we start mixing it all together. We're going to gradually incorporate about 400 grams of flour, or until you get a soft dough. So just keep on mixing until it looks like this. Then we're going to cover it. We're going to let it rest for another hour. Once it's doubled again, we're going to remove the bread onto a floured surface, and we're going to portion it up into about 4 pieces. I'm going to be making a braided loaf. So what we do is we stretch out our circles, shake it up and down until you get a nice oval looking shape. And then what we're going to do is we're going to roll it out until it's relatively thin, and then we're going to fill it up. So start from the middle, work your way back and forth until you get a nice oval looking shape. And then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to fill it, roll it, and braid it. So we take our toasted almonds that we've ground up. We're going to lay this down on our flat piece. Make sure everything's covered with a little bit of the nice toasted almonds. Then we're going to follow it up with our apricots, which were all chopped up. And then we're going to go over it again with
with our cherries. And then from this point, we grab one edge and we just roll it over. And then we continue this with the 4 other pieces until you have 4 ropes or strands that look the same. To braid, you just go from the outside over the 2 middle, do the same thing on the opposite side, and then eventually you'll get a 4-strand braid that looks like this. Butter it, put it in the 350 oven for 45 minutes, and you get the golden kolache. Happy holidays, everybody!